Greetings, dear beautiful soul, dear beloved person that you are, in the very core of your being. No worries. You know, that's an Australian term. No worries, no worries, no worries. And actually, it's true, because worry doesn't work. It doesn't change things, doesn't make anything better, it doesn't get rid of something. It's actually what a lot of people do. Instead of take action and do what they need to do, they worry. And they're always worried about the future. And then the other thing is lamenting the past or hankering for something in the future. And what happens with no worries is because you are so in tune with the divine that you cannot be moved in that sense. That's your absolute knowing, and that you stand in that knowing and that truth. You know, falling apart is also falling together. And what happens when we notice changes going on, it's like people desire, in a sense, greater happiness, love, joy, fulfillment, satisfaction, because it's who we are. And yet what happens is most people are engaged in fear and lack and limitation and worry. And whenever a change happens, even though they're desiring a better quality of their own experience, as soon as things start to change or is a little different from the way you have it set up, people get real nervous. And then it's the same thing that, say, a person is giving up a drug addiction of some kind, alcohol. And then the person's going to AA and realizing there's a higher power and working with that. But what happens is oftentimes the people in their family and friends and everybody else around, because that person changing is like a domino effect, and it starts creating changes in all those relationships, because we tend to get comfortable in these set patterns and we loop. Remember, I told you the past creates the future and the future creates the past. And it's that sign of the infinity, which means in the finite reality. And that's not talking about spirituality at all. What's who you are and what's possible. It's this game here. It's the looping game, so that you never get out of it. You just keep going back and forth, back and forth. So to get out of it, you have to get that it isn't it. It is not the power. And we call that outer reality, in a sense, it. And some people even call God it, or it's a thing, actually, a thing. A thing is not a person, because we're a no thing, and we're a no body, because we are a some person, we are a one, and that we're always this. So anyway, when those changes start to happen, say that person is going to AA and they're changing and they're doing the 12-step program, and they're, taking responsibility and not being controlled by an addiction that only was bringing them trouble and misery and unhappiness in so many levels, but it was actually a medicine. I noticed that when I was doing the drinking years ago, it was actually, in one level, it was all I knew to let go of the stress, the fear, the anxiety, and all that I was generating from the mind, because I really didn't understand that about the mind, because we were talking about divine mind most all the time. And how, because we're so used to using words and sentences with meaning, and it's basically spell casting through spelling on ourselves. So anyway, so when the change happens, everybody around them is upset at some level, because they want to get things back to the way they were, because everybody's playing a script. It's a game, it's a script that they're used to playing, because they've identified with the role they're playing, forgetting they are the actor, that they are the actress, that they are the being who is beyond the role, beyond the character, beyond the script, beyond this. So when that change happens, you have to stay strong, because the people around you may try to pull you back into the fear-based, lack-based reality by saying, well, you're not being realistic, you're not worried about it, you're not in fear, you're not in hatred, you're not in anger, because you got to get with that. Why? because that's a misuse of our divine power, because we're giving even the oxygen to the brain. That's why thinking makes you tired, because you're using up all of your energy that you could put the oxygen right into the heart as you are in the moment. So, there's no worries. Worry is a useless thing that actually creates the very thing that you're worried about, because you're giving the thing you're worried about power over you when you're the power, you see. And that's what you have to know. And when you do that, you have to stand strong in yourself, because falling apart is falling together. And when things start to fall apart, everybody goes crazy. What's going to happen? Well, it's happening every moment in the time game. So it really isn't about focusing on what they are all the time and what they're doing and what they want and what blah, blah, blah. Because it's the it thing we're all focused on. No, you want to be focused in your own being. And as you are using your breath to come into the center, using knowledge, sacred knowledge, and using that and applying it to basically free yourself from this limited consciousness that's all pervading out there with most people. And everybody wants to maintain this, but then when a whole bunch of changes start happening at one time, bum, 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 they can so bombard you that it knocks you off your center. And then because your family is not happy because you're not the way you used to be, and now you're a vegetarian and that upsets them, or it's all these kind of things that we get so connected with these groups, and these groups that we want to fit in. We don't want to be the bad sheep in the family. We're not sheep anyway, It's like we have this human body, and the real key is just remember who you are and never forget, instead of just watch for a while and look at what you're doing to torture yourself, because the mind is the greatest terrorist weapon ever invented, and it is an invention. Because you might call it you have divine mind, but you don't need a mind because you're not segmented. You see, you are whole and complete, and you are perfect in every way. So no worries. There's nothing for me to worry about ever again. Say that. Nothing, no thing for me to worry about ever again. Get into the feeling of that. How would you feel? And then start really reclaiming your powers and using them to empower yourself and to empower others to be who they really are. Wow! Just imagine how magnificent that would be. And it happens one person at a time. Each of us does that for ourselves. No worries. Falling apart is falling together. And what together means is that which we no longer give power to dissolves. And that which we focus on and give power to grows. And so therefore make sure you're focusing on that which is empowering and nourishing and enriching to you as a spirit soul, and then in every aspect of your being, you apply that in your day-to-day, moment-to-moment experience, you see. All is well. There's nothing for you to worry about ever again.